bad not.
He's looking worried. Well, no, so... He's a great crowd, that's everything. Number 15, and the team is captained by now in comes to the remaining
Yeah, we did, yeah.
I did all of them. Eh?
Well, here we are back in Banteer for the replay of the 1997 Duhallow Junior Football Final. We were here a fortnight ago when these teams, Kiskeam and Kanturk, met in the final, and of course they drew on that occasion. A dramatic finish to the game. Kiskeam jumped into a 7-point lead with 12 minutes to go, and Kanturk staged a great recovery, scored a goal and 4 points in those last 12 minutes and drew level just before the end. So they're back here today to contest this championship, the 65th playing of the Duhallow Football Final. Kiskeam, the reigning champions, led in the parade by their captain Donny Angland, and Kanturk trying to regain this title after a lapse of 35 years, their last win being in 1962, led by their captain Kieran Fitzgerald. And Kieran's father, of course, played in that 1962 final. He played in goal. It was a replay actually in 1962. He played in goal in the first game against Knocknagree and played at midfield or half forward line actually in the replay and scored a goal and 4 points for Kanturk. Another very large attendance here today in Banteer for this replay. The weather not entirely as good as for the drawn game. We had a glorious afternoon for the drawn game. There's a little bit of a mist. It may have made the ball a bit greasy, but rain is holding off. And we're looking forward to a great contest here today again. Nothing much to choose between these teams. Kiskeam, as I said, going in as champions. Had a very impressive performance against Knocknagree in the first round, but had a very tough game against Newmarket in the semi-final. Indeed, it was only in the late stages that Kiskeam came good in that game. They were behind for most of the game, and then a goal by Jimmy Dennehy and a few points in the later stages put them ahead, and they won in the finish by 4 points. Kanturk had two great games against Drumtariff in the semi-final. They saved the situation, a late point by Dave O'Riordan in the drawn game, and then they won the game by a point. They won the replay by a point, held out against a strong Drumtariff rally in the closing stages. So both teams are coming well prepared, well tested, well experienced. Kiskeam are contesting their 4th successive Duhallow Football Final. Kanturk contesting the finals for the first time since 1993 when they lost to Newmarket, but of course they had the experience of playing here a fortnight to go. And the teams, Kiskeam led by, or in the parade by their captain, Donny Anglin, but the line-out is in goal, Sam O'Sullivan, the full-back line, John Anglin, Donny Anglin and Raphael Murphy. The half-back line, Maurice Anglin, Eddie Anglin and Declan Cremin. The midfielders, Tony Scannell and Dennis O'Leary. The half-forward line, Declan Cremin, Richard Dennehy and John Doody. And the full-forward line, Niall Cronin, Eamon O'Mahony and Jimmy Dennehy. The Kanturk line out in goal, Corman Lane. The full-back line, Pat O'Reilly, Padraig Kearns and James Healy. Half-back line, Seamus Vaughan, John Murphy and Brian O'Connell. Midfielders, Kieran Fitzgerald and Dave O'Riordan. Half-forward line, Timothy Healy, Jerome Welsh and Aidan O'Keefe. And the full-forward line, Alan Buckley, Donald O'Connell and Frank Healy. And the referee for today's game is Richard Murphy of Lyre. Richard, a very experienced referee, has refereed important games all over the county, and indeed games outside, well outside the county for Munster Council, and indeed farther afield again. He has refereed the American Championships in Chicago for the past few years, has gone to Chicago or San Francisco for 3-week periods to take charge of those championships, so we couldn't have a more experienced man in charge of the whistle here today. Well, already we see some changes from the published line out in the Kanturk team. Jerome Welsh is playing at centre field. That's not a surprise. That was done the last day as well. Dave O'Riordan is at centre half forward, but before going any further, we are now ready for the national anthem. Well, Richard Murphy, the referee, having a last look round before throwing in the ball for this Duhallow football final. Great deal of tension in the air. Kanturk, as I said, looking for their first title in 35 years. First kick to Kieran Fitzgerald there, sends Kanturk down into the attack. But Tony Anglin was there for Kiskeam and retrieves the ball, and it's a line ball out for Kiskeam to be taken by Donny Anglin, and Donny kicks it into the centre, and that's John Murphy who went up for it for Kanturk. And this is Dave O'Riordan, Dave, who pulled that late point that kept Kanturk in the championship in the semi-final against Drumtariff. Over to Frank Healy. Frank Healy down to Donald O'Connell. Donald O'Connell, a strong player at full forward, passes the ball back to Timothy Healy, and Timothy goes for his first score a point, but the ball gets away from him to the left, and Kanturk have recorded the first wide of the game. So, with half a minute gone, Kanturk have done the attacking so far, but Kiskeam will be hoping to get out the ball up the field as quickly as possible, and they'll be trying, of course, to latch on to Sam O'Sullivan's kick out. Sam has a good kick out, and that's likely to drop in the midfield region, and there are plenty of experienced players there. But Richard Murphy, the referee, who was waiting for the kick out, has spotted something there, some aggravation between players, and he's going over to have a word with two players there. Niall Cronin of Kiskeam and Seamus Vaughan of Kanturk. And he says, cool it lads, cut out the aggravation. And now Sam O'Sullivan kicking the ball out, and up goes Declan Cremin for the ball, and he gives it across to Eddie Angland, who sends it down to Richard Dennehy. Richard hops the ball, gets it free, looks around, sizing up his options, wondering which way will he kick it. But he kicks it down. James Healy is coming across, but it's Tony Scannell, and is taken out of his hand by Patrick Kearns. And then this is Eamon O'Mahony, who is playing number 9, and that ball was kicked over by Niall Cronin. So Kiskeam have taken the lead. Kiskeam, after just over 2 minutes, have taken the lead. A point by Niall Cronin. A point by Niall Cronin, and Eamon O'Mahony, as we pointed out, is in there at full forward for Kiskeam, wearing number 9, listed as a midfielder in the line-out, but used to playing at full forward, has played some great games this year for Kiskeam in the championship already. Up went Jerome Welsh, blocked that ball down. Jerome was pushed, I think, by Tony Scannell as he got to the ball, so it's a free to Kanturk. And referee having a word with Richard Dennehy and John Murphy there. Richard determined to keep strict control of this game, and now he's giving the free to Kanturk, and Jerome Welsh is kicking it from the midfield region, and Jerome kicks a high one in toward the square. Donald O'Connell was trying to get to it there, but he was well policed by Raphael Murphy, and the ball was too high and too far for them in any case. So Kanturk have recorded their second wide, and the rain is now starting to come down. Soft rain, but it's going to make matters much more difficult for the players. Ball is going to get greasy, the ground probably going to get slippery, so making a different ball game out of it now. High ball out into the centre. That is Morris Anglands. Morris Anglands over to Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary up to John Hurley. John, being policed by Brian O'Connell, gets in his kick, and it goes across to John Doody. John, who came on and got a great goal in the semi-final. John Doody in a run, son, of course, of Tom Doody, who trained Kiskeam to 2 of their championship victories. And a tussle there. Was it Richard Dennehy? It was Richard Dennehy and Brian O'Connell, and a tussle there between them, and Richard throws in the ball, and it's Jimmy Dennehy who punches it down. Eamon O'Mahony has it now, being challenged by Patrick Kearns, and Eamon still has it, and there's a group of players around, nobody particular fouling, and Patrick Kearns comes out, lifts it for Kanturk, and Patrick did very well there to get that ball out. Frank Healy comes across, keeps it in play, but he's shouldered out over the line, and it's a line ball for Kiskeam, and Jimmy Dennehy to take it. Jimmy takes it off his hand, of course. It's a great ball, it's lobbing in, and the Kanturk goalkeeper Coleman Lane, it was a dangerous ball. Coleman Lane fisted it away, but it went out over the line for a 65, but that was a situation saved there, because those balls dropping into the goal mouth are dangerous, and Jimmy Dennehy's shot dropped in. There were plenty of Kiskeam forwards around, but Coleman Lane did quite well to get it away, even at the expense of a 65. And the 65 now, ball being placed by Jimmy Dennehy, and Jimmy, of course, a great kicker of these long balls. We remember that great point he got in Páirc Uí Chaoimh to give Duhallow a county title some years ago, late 65, and he's going to go for the point, I suppose, with this one. Yes, he is, and he drops it over the bar, and there it is, the first score for Kiskeam. Just over 5 minutes gone, almost 6 minutes gone, and Kiskeam have, the second point I should have said, of course, Kiskeam are 2 points up now, and a good start for the divisional champions. Kiskeam, very experienced. 2 championships to their credit in the last 4 years. As I said, they're playing in their 4th successive final. Ball blocked down, or dropped down into the centre of the field there. But Richard Dennehy was a bit optimistic there. Richard rolled it with his hand to the ground and picked it. And now there's some dissent there, probably from Kiskeam. And John Murphy was taking the ball forward. But now it's Aidan O'Keefe who kicks it forward. And now it's Jerome Welsh who comes in. And Jerome is being tackled there by Eddie Angland, and it's a free into Kanturk. And Timothy Healy, who has a great record of accuracy in this championship. He was the man who really steered them to victory over Rockchapel in the first round, with many of those frees being put over the bar. And of course he scored a goal and 3 points in the last 12 minutes against Kiskeam here a fortnight ago. And Timothy right in front of the goal. We've always been saying the easier ones don't, the ones that look easier don't often turn out that way, but this is no problem to Timothy. He puts it over the bar. So with 7 minutes gone, it's 2 points to 1 in favour of Kiskeam. And Kanturk will be glad to have got the ball in, that point on the board, because team always likes to get the first score to settle them. Coming up the field there was Eddie Angland. Eddie sends it out over to the far side. That's John Doody going for it, being challenged by James Healy. John gets away. John, a very fast player. He hops the ball on the ground on his foot, and then he takes a kick and it hits the bar, and it hits the post, and it goes over the bar. A great point there for John Doody, and that puts Kiskeam 2 points up, 3 points to 1 now, with 8 minutes gone. And that was a great effort there by John Doody, who got that ball, controlled it well, took it forward, hopped it on his foot, hopped it on the ground, made ground towards the goal, and then kicked it, hit the post and over the bar. And Coleman Lane taking the kick out now for Kanturk. Ball dropping into the centre of the field. Up went Tony Scannell and Jerome Welsh. Neither of them got it. The ball broke away. That is Eddie Angland for Kiskeam trying to get it. Eddie goes back. Retreat. Now, is that Morris Angland? It is. That's Morris now on the ball. Morris sends it up the field, but John Murphy fielded it for Kanturk, but it's a free down for Kiskeam. It's a free down for Kiskeam for where the ball landed. John Doody across to Niall Cronin. Niall Cronin back to Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary back to Niall Cronin. And Niall is going to go have a shot. He's chased by Brian O'Connell. He gets it back to John Doody. John hadn't room for a shot. He gets it back to Richard Dennehy. Richard dummies with the ball there. Going through. Is pulled down by Padraig Kearns. And so it's a free into Kiskeam. And will this be another point for Jimmy Dennehy? He put it over the bar from farther out a few moments ago. And now he's going to kick this one off the hand. A lot of players nowadays opting for kicks off the hand. And Jimmy kicks this one, and he sends it over the bar again. So 4 points for Kiskeam now, with just 10 minutes gone in this Duhallow football final. 4 points for Kiskeam, 1 for Kanturk. Kiskeam will certainly be very pleased with that start, and they're playing with the wind, and Kanturk will be hoping to do something about the bringing down the lead in a moment. The ball goes back, and it's John Herlihy, the flying John Herlihy, who breaks away for the ball. Kiskeam looking very sharp at the moment, over to Tony Scannell. Tony Scannell in towards the goal mouth, but that ball goes wide. Well, Kiskeam playing with the wind, and that's noticeable as Coleman Lane kicks out the ball, because when the ball goes high, the wind holds it in the air and drops a little shorter than the Kiskeam kicks out, and you can see it, but it comes out into the centre of the field. Jerome Welsh got a slight push by Eddie Angland there as he tried to field the ball, and now Donald O'Connell is going for it from Kanturk. Donald being challenged there, hops the ball, and his kick is blocked down there by Eddie Angland. Jerome Welsh now back to Frank Healy and for Coleman, or Alan Buckley rather, and Donald O'Connell fisted it in, but into the hands of Sam O'Sullivan, and Sam made a good save there. John Herlihy near the line. John Herlihy up to Jimmy Dennehy. Jimmy Dennehy being chased by Pat O'Reilly. Over now to Niall Cronin for Kiskeam. Niall across the field looking for John Doody, using John as a target man over there, and the ball was fisted out there by James Healy. I think James protested, but that's the decision, and Dennis O'Leary has it now, and Dennis sends a high ball in, and Coleman Lane fields it safely. Coleman being challenged there for a moment by Eamon O'Mahony. He gets the ball out into the middle of the field, and that's Dennis O'Leary there. Or is it Eddie Angland? Morris Angland rather. Morris Angland over to John Doody, and John Doody kicks this shot, but it goes just to the left of the post and wide, across the goal. Kiskeam forwards looking very sharp in possession. Sharper, I think, than they have done for some time in this championship. Certainly sharper than they've been doing in the last few games. They did look very good against Knocknagree in the first round, and they're playing that kind of football today. Richard Dennehy was trying to field it there, but the judge to have taken it on the ground. John Murphy kicks it up to Frank Healy. Frank Healy on a run, being chased by Declan Crimmon. Drops the ball for a moment, retrieves it, and he's told to play away, but that ball goes in, and Sam O'Sullivan saves it up to John, out to John Angland. John had a great game in the last, in the drawn game here. John Murphy and Richard Dennehy going for it. The ball goes farther than both of them. Jimmy Dennehy racing for it. John Murphy gets ahead of him. John gets possession there, being tackled and shouldered and hampered eventually by Jimmy Dennehy, and it's a free out to Kanturk. It's a free out to Kanturk, and Kiskeam players not getting out of the way quickly enough, so Pat O'Reilly kicks it for Kanturk, and this is Declan Crimmon for Kiskeam. Declan played in the half-forward line the last day. A great fielding there by Pat O'Reilly for Kanturk, but his kick didn't go right, and that was a high tackle by Dennis O'Leary. A high tackle there by Dennis O'Leary, and Dennis's name is going into the book. A high tackle, and Frank Healy. But Frank is okay. He's being attended to by Seamus. Seamus Lynham there, and he takes a drink out of the bottle, and that magic bottle is cure for a lot of ills, and it's Frank has assumed his place, and Brian O'Connell kicks the ball up the field, and now Frank Healy is breaking away from Kanturk, and he sends it across to the captain of the team, and it goes over the bar. Kieran Fitzgerald, who picked off a good point for Kanturk in the drawn game, has scored again, and so it's 4 points to 2. That was a good move by Kanturk, with Frank Healy getting the ball across to the midfielder and captain of the team, Kieran Fitzgerald, who picked off a good point. And so Kiskeam's lead now down to 2 points with a quarter of an hour gone. Ball out into the middle of the field. Kieran Fitzgerald fields that well and is then hampered and gets a free, and he sends it down to Timothy Healy for Kanturk, and Timothy kicks it in towards the goal, and Frank Healy, his brother, is running forward, fisted out to Donald O'Connell, and the ball is fisted away there by one of the Kiskeam defenders. I didn't exactly see who it was, but it was a good interception. A good interception. I think it was Morris Angland who fisted that away, and it certainly averted a very dangerous situation, as Timothy Healy first sent in the ball to Frank Healy, and he got it down to Donald O'Connell, and there was danger for a moment for Kiskeam until that ball was fisted away. And as I said, I think it was Morris Angland who nipped in to avert the danger, and that wouldn't be surprising, because Morris has been one of the star defenders in this Kiskeam team for many years now, indeed for Duhallow as well. Played for Duhallow at a very young age. I think he was only 17 when he marked Denny Allen in a county final against Nemo Rangers. And Morris has never looked back since those days, an attacking half-back who can bring the ball up the field. There was some doubt about him, I think, during the week about an injury, but he's all right, and he's certainly standing up to the pressure here today. There's a Kanturk player down, as you can see on the far side there, and that is Frank Healy. That's the second knock Frank has got, but he's assuming, and Frank is a very nippy player, a player who gets away quickly, marking another young player today in Declan Cremin, and that's Alan Buckley. Back to Timothy Healy, and will Timothy go for a point? He shoots, and it goes Sam O'Sullivan. The ball was going wide. I don't think Sam knew that. He took no chances. Sam came out and punched it, and the ball went out over the line, and so it's a 65 for Kanturk, or a 45 I should say, for Kanturk. And Jerome Welsh, well known Kanturk and Duhallow player, to take this 45. He's taking it into the wind, but he might take his chance and try to go the full way, and indeed he does, and it drops in towards the goal, but it's fielded in there by Eddie Angland. Eddie Angland out here. Frank Healy has possession. He gets it back to Jerome Welsh. Jerome Welsh hopped the ball, being tackled by Declan Cremin. Falls, gets it back, an interception there by Morris Angland, not Donny Angland rather. Now John Murphy racing for it in front of Richard Dennehy. Jimmy Dennehy comes in, and but Pat O'Reilly was adjudged to being tripped there as he came for the ball, and so it's a free to Kanturk. Pat O'Reilly, son of Charlie O'Reilly, who played for Knox Gowan in years gone by. Pat takes a kick, he takes a high one, up goes Frank Healy. That's Alan Buckley, and Alan Buckley sends it down to Frank Healy. Frank is at an angle, he sends it across, trying to find Aidan O'Keefe. He finds Kieran Fitzgerald. Kieran hops the ball, then is tackled, then takes a shot, and this time the ball doesn't do his bidding and it goes wide. Well, the umpire is signalling down there, and it is a 45. A Kiskeam defender must have touched that ball after Kieran Fitzgerald left Kieran Fitzgerald's foot, and so it's a 45 for Kanturk. And Jerome Welsh sent it across to Aidan O'Connell and Aidan O'Keefe, and Aidan drops a great ball over the bar from far out. So Kanturk are right back in the picture. 4 points now for Kiskeam, 3 points for Kanturk, with 20 minutes gone in this Duhallow football final, the 65th playing of this championship. Looks like being a very close game here again today. The wind took that ball. Richard Dennehy races, sends it across to John Herlihy, and John takes a shot, and John drops it over the bar. Well, that was a great economy by Kiskeam there, because Sam O'Sullivan's ball came up and the wind took it in front of Richard Dennehy. Richard spotted John Herlihy, excuse me, gave it to John, and John dropped it over the bar. So Kiskeam now 2 points ahead again, 5 points to 3, just 20 minutes gone. Coleman Lane's kick right into the centre of the field, into the safe hands of Jerome Welsh for Kanturk. Jerome sends a low one down the field. That's the Kiskeam full-back, Donny Angland. Alan Buckley tried to get to it before that, but this is Declan Cremin bringing it out of defence, seeing open space before him, and then the referee awards a free up to Kiskeam from while the ball landed. Spotted an infringement back there, and Richard Dennehy to Jimmy Dennehy. Jimmy Dennehy being policed by Pat O'Reilly. Jimmy gets away, and he gets it into Dennis O'Leary, and it's taken there by Brian O'Connell. A fast interception there as Brian O'Connell came in, and Brian, always a quick, fast mover, and that was a very valuable interception for Kanturk. Richard Dennehy had the ball there, was fouled by Frank Healy, and so it's a free in to Kiskeam. A free into Kiskeam, which Jimmy Dennehy will take. Well, it's around the 50-yard line, maybe a bit outside it, and Jimmy will try for the point, and he drops it in, but it goes into the safe hands of Coleman Lane, and Coleman sends a fine clearance out to this side of the field. Declan Cremin is racing for it. So is Frank Healy. Declan gets it. Declan across to Richard Dennehy. Tackled there for a moment by John Murphy. Gets the ball down to Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary to John Herlihy. John takes aim, and John sends another good shot over the bar, and so Kiskeam are now 6 points to 3 in favour of the divisional champions. Almost 23 minutes gone in the first half of this Duhallow football final, and Kiskeam are 3 points ahead, but of course they're playing with the wind. Kick out, drops into the centre of the field. Tony Scannell got his fist to it. Then it was Kieran Fitzgerald. Then it's Aidan O'Keefe for Kanturk, and Aidan sends it down to Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley to Aidan O'Keefe. Aidan takes a shot, it goes in, but Sam O'Sullivan is there. Ball drops short of what Aidan probably intended, where Eamon intended it to go. Aidan intended it to go. Sam O'Sullivan out to Niall Cronin. Up the field now. Eamon O'Mahony hops off of him, and James Healy has it for Kanturk, sends it across to Brian O'Connell. Brian with open space in front of him sends it down, but the ball goes to Dennis O'Leary. Dennis being challenged by Jerome Welsh. Free to Kiskeam up to Declan Cremin. Jimmy Dennehy pointing, saying to drop the ball in front of him. He punches the ball down, and this is a chance for Kiskeam, but a quick interception there by Kanturk defender there. Was that Dave O'Riordan? Yes, it was indeed Dave O'Riordan who came in. The ball now comes back to Dave. Dave sends it across to John Murphy. John being hampered by Richard Dennehy, and John taking the free. That was a good interception there by Dave O'Riordan, who has moved back out now to the middle of the field. Gets the shot from John Murphy. That's Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley to Frank Healy. Frank is making a run. Frank is going to shoot, and Frank shoots it, but it's over the bar. I thought it was going to drop short. No, that's a great score by Frank Healy, and that was a good move all the way through for Kanturk. Dave O'Riordan sent it across to Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley to Frank Healy. Frank made a bit of ground and then shot it over the bar, and that brings the margin down to 2 points now. 25 minutes gone in the first half. Kiskeam 6 points, Kanturk 2. And the linesman John Lane has drawn Richard Dennehy's attention to something in there, and Richard is going and he's calling some players. He's calling, is it John Doody and James Healy across? He's looking across to them, and he's looking for their attention, and he's asking them to come across to him. Well, the referee having a word with the two players, and they go back now to their places, and the play resumes with a kick out from the Kiskeam goal by Sam O'Sullivan. Brian O'Connell just got to it for a moment, but it's Richard Dennehy. It hopped back to Richard Dennehy. Richard Dennehy down to James Healy, got that one out. And this is John Murphy of the ball, hops awkwardly. And that is John Doody. And it's a free to Kiskeam. Jimmy Dennehy coming out to take the kick. Jimmy is going for the score, and it looks as if he's getting it. Yes, it's a great kick off the hand from a distance well over 50 yards out by Jimmy Dennehy, and that makes it 7 points to 4. Kiskeam 3 ahead, facing into the last few minutes of the first half. 3 minutes to go. That's of course without any injury time added. 3 minutes to go to half time. Kiskeam leading by 3 points. Kick out from Coleman Lane. Dropping into the centre. That's Dave O'Riordan. Dave O'Riordan to Brian O'Connell. Brian runs into a bit of trouble there. John Doody or John Herlihy rather. John Doody and John Herlihy are first cousins, by the way, both playing in attack for Kiskeam. Donald O'Connell fists it back to Frank Healy. Frank Healy hops the ball, but out comes Declan Cremin. Declan Cremin out to Richard Dennehy. Richard Dennehy up to John Doody. John Doody, great turn of pace, showing it there as he moves the ball forward, and eventually the ball goes wide. It was Morris Anglin, and look where Morris Anglin was. Morris saw that move developing, John Doody running with the ball, and Morris came all the way down to be there in case any opportunity presented itself, but when it did, the ball was sent wide. And so, just about 2 minutes to go to half time. Dennis O'Leary fields that one well. Sends it to John Herlihy. John being challenged by Brian O'Connell down to Eamon O'Mahony. Eamon, faced by Patrick Kearns there, juggles with the ball. Out comes Jimmy Dennehy making himself available. Dennis O'Leary is there, being shouldered by Dave O'Riordan, and it goes out over the line off the boot of John Murphy, who certainly didn't intend it, but the ball banged up against it. But that's Dave O'Riordan with the ball, caught that one well. Dave sends the ball right into the centre. It's hopping well for the Kiskeam, and Declan Cremin breaking away, being challenged there by Aidan O'Keefe, gets it up to John Herlihy, but back down to Brian O'Connell for Kanturk. Brian sends it up, and Frank Healy playing very well for Kanturk. Frank fields that one well, sends it down to Donald O'Connell. Donald sends it across, and that's Timothy Healy running in, and Timothy Healy sends it in to Alan Buckley, and Alan Buckley sends the ball into the net, and Kanturk have drawn level. A goal by Alan Buckley, and that was a great move. Frank Healy had it, and Frank sent it across, if my memory serves me right, to Donald O'Connell, who sent it across to Timothy Healy, and Timothy sent it into the corner, spotted Alan Buckley moving in, and Alan has put the ball into the net. A good time for Kanturk to get a goal. So the scores are level going into the half-time break. There could of course be another score before half-time, but there isn't much time left now. Out to John Angland. John Angland up to Jimmy Dennehy. Controls the ball well. Sends it down to Eamon O'Mahony. Eamon being challenged by Padraig Kearns. On a run, a free to Kiskeam. Well, as Eamon O'Mahony made that run, Padraig Kearns put a hand on his shoulder, and that gives a free to Jimmy Dennehy. This is at an angle, but certainly not beyond the capability of Jimmy to score. He has scored from all angles and distances in his time. He may opt to go for the score direct. He may opt to drop it into the goal mouth, but more than likely he'll go for the point. And he does, and he drops it. He drops it just wide of the post, and that's the last kick of the first half. And the teams have finished level. And coming into today's game, we were all of the opinion that this would be a hard game to call, and certainly it is. It is that way at half-time as the teams break for the interval, with Kanturk a goal and 4 points, Kiskeam 7 points. Yeah, John is gone. What's he talking about?
1817 is the senior holding.
Just off.
1817.
Well, getting ready now for the start of the second half, and everything to play for here. The score's level. Same 4 midfielders. Kieran Fitzgerald, Jerome Welsh for Kanturk, Dennis O'Leary, and Tony Scannell for Kiskeam. Richard Murphy telling the players to go back and leave an open space around midfield. Frank Healy, I noticed, gone centre forward for Kanturk. That's punched down first of all by Tony Scannell. Kanturk gone into the attack there, and it's Frank Healy. Frank Healy challenged there by Donny Angland, and it's caught there by Donald O'Connell, a strong man trying to burst his way through, and he kicks the ball. He kicks the ball wide. Well, he was very close to the post there, and challenged strongly by Donny Angland, and it took a strong man to hold the ball in those circumstances, and Donald O'Connell has proved a great success since coming into the Kanturk team at full forward. He's a big, strong man. He's able to hold the ball. He has got some good scores in this championship. He was very near to one there, but the ball didn't do his bidding in the end, and so it's still level. 1-4 for Kanturk, 7 points for Kiskeam. The ball drops down there to Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary challenged by Jerome Welsh. Jerome gets his kick up. Jimmy Dennehy for Kiskeam. Jimmy Dennehy is going on a run, and Jimmy is going to kick for a point, but it goes to the right and wide. And so we've only little more than a minute played in the second half, and each side has lost a chance of a point, and the scores remain level. 1-4 for Kanturk, 7 points for Kiskeam. Great tension, great excitement here. Kiskeam trying to hold on to their title. Kanturk trying to make that breakthrough after 35 years. And what celebrations there would be in Kanturk tonight if they were able to achieve it. Richard Dennehy with the ball, wins a free. Richard Dennehy sends it down. Eamon O'Mahony grabs it. Eamon takes a kick and sends it over the bar. A good point by Eamon O'Mahony. A good point by Eamon O'Mahony there. Yeah, I think it's Richard Dennehy, I think, that sent in that ball, and won a good ball out near the middle of the field, and Eamon O'Mahony made the conversion into a point, and that puts Kiskeam a point ahead, 8 points to 1-4 now. Ball dropping into the centre of the field, and Dennis O'Leary fouled as he went for the ball, and Richard Dennehy, James Healy and John Doody, and James Healy comes back, retrieves the ball, clears it up, aiming for his brother Timothy, who holds it very well despite pressure from John Angland into Donald O'Connell. Now it's Dave O'Leary, Dave O'Riordan running over for it on the far side. Dave sends it into Donald O'Connell. Donald looking to see could he punch it to anybody, but he's being very closely challenged. Eventually he punches it along on the ground. Well, he hadn't much option there, but you can punch the ball on the ground, and referee Richard Murphy going over to explain to him that that's not allowed. Hard luck on Donald there, because as I said, he fell and he hadn't much option, but it wasn't a legal option. And the ball, Niall Cronin now for Kiskeam. John Doody, that's Morris Angland. Morris Angland on a run, being chased by Aidan O'Keefe. Morris Angland over to John Doody. John Doody back to Richard Dennehy, being tackled by John Murphy. Richard hops the ball in his foot, trying to get through, holds the ball, is fouled. And so it's a free to Kiskeam, and this gives them a chance of increasing their lead. They're leading by a point, 8 points to 1-4. Will this be another point for Kiskeam? It should be. Jimmy Dennehy is right in front of the goal. And it is straight and true over the bar, and Kiskeam have gone into a 2-point lead. Just 5 minutes gone in the second half. The score now 9 points for Kiskeam, 1-4 for Kanturk. Kick out by Coleman Lane. Kieran Fitzgerald got it down to Brian O'Connell. Brian O'Connell up to Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley being challenged there and held by Donny Angland, and so a free into Kanturk. Richard Denny anxious to get it, Richard Murphy anxious to get it from where the foul actually was committed. Cleared out the field by Rayful Murphy. Up to John Doody. John Doody up to John Herlihy, his first cousin, son of Christy Herlihy's. And John Doody drops that ball over the bar. A great point by John Doody. And of course, John Herlihy rather. John Herlihy, son I said of Christy Herlihy's, who gave great service to Kiskeam over many years. Member of the county winning side of 1964. Now racing for it over there, Dave O'Riordan. It's also Kieran Fitzgerald was there, but Declan Crimmin was the player who got his foot to it and sent it out over the line. So it's a line ball for Kanturk. Dave O'Riordan on the far side trying to find Donald O'Connell. Gets it with a great catch to Alan Buckley. Alan is going to go for a score. He drops it in, and it's just wide, just too far. It went too far to the left and wide, and so Kiskeam now 3 points ahead. That point by John Herlihy a few moments ago increased their lead to 3 points, and they retain it. 10 points now for Kiskeam, 1-4 for Kanturk. 7 minutes gone in the second half of this Duhallow final. Declan Crimmin, the ball fisted away there by Frank Healy. Frank goes back, retrieves it, and Frank runs into a shoulder, but he gives the ball. Dave O'Riordan had it for the moment. It breaks away. It's Declan Crimmin. Declan Crimmin up to Eddie Angland. Eddie Angland to Niall Cronin. Niall Cronin to Tony Scannell. Tony kicking it down towards Eamon O'Mahony. Eamon is going to go for a point. No, he's not. He's going to give it to... He's going to give it to... He kicked it. He gave it to John Doody. And, well, something happened as John Doody went for that kick, because John Usually doesn't kick them wide from that range, from that distance, but John got a goal in the second half, a vital goal for Kiskeam in the second half of the drawn game, and it looked as if he might pull off one there, but the ball went wrong off his boot. It went wide. This is Donny Angland bringing the ball up for Kiskeam. Jerome Welch racing hard in there. Morris Angland down to John Herlihy. John Murphy fisted it away. Morris goes to retrieve it. Morris is going to kick it over the bar, and he does. And so Kiskeam have gone into a 4-point lead. 11 points now for Kiskeam. 1-4 for Kanturk. Well, that was typical stuff from Morris Angland. Morris plays in the half-back line, but comes up the field and acts as an extra forward at times. Niall Cronin, Kiskeam playing well now, putting a lot of pressure on Kanturk. Niall Cronin running with the ball, being challenged by John Murphy. These Kiskeam forwards are now looking very speedy, putting a lot of pressure on the Kanturk backs, forcing them to concede frees. Jimmy Dennehy to take this kick, and he kicks it down into open space, hoping to find John Doody, and John was tackled there by Pat O'Reilly, and the ball went wide, and so it's a kick out from the Kanturk goal by Coleman Lane. And I see Carl Cronin coming on the Kanturk team. He's replacing Aidan O'Keefe with 10 minutes gone in the second half. John Herlihy. John hands that one down to Niall Cronin. Niall Cronin tackled by Brian O'Connell. Kiskeam forwards now getting first to the ball. Eamon O'Mahony comes in there. Eamon hops it in his boot, gets it back to Richard Dennehy. Richard down to Jimmy Dennehy. Jimmy slips, and the advantage goes to Pat O'Reilly. And then Pat slips. The ground is getting slippery, and the ball blocked down by Eamon O'Mahony. Back to Richard Dennehy. Richard Dennehy into Eamon O'Mahony. And there's something on here for Kiskeam, and the ball goes to the net. It's Eamon O'Mahony. Eamon O'Mahony kicked that ball, and Eamon has given Kiskeam now a vital advantage. 111 to 1-4. They're 7 points clear. Of course, we must remember they were 7 points clear with 12 minutes to go in the drawn game, but Kiskeam are playing the better football now. That's Kieran. That's Eamon O'Mahony. That's Eamon O'Mahony. The ball blocked in the first place by Padraig Kearns, but it's Kiskeam who are applying the pressure now. Seem to be moving faster than Kanturk, and of course I say possession is 9 points of the law. It's certainly proving that way now as far as Kiskeam is concerned. And Jimmy Dennehy takes this kick, and that one goes harmlessly wide, but well, Kiskeam perhaps can afford to lose a point at this stage. They're 111 to 1-4 ahead, 7 points. It's really now up to Kanturk to make a comeback like they did in the drawn game. Dennis O'Leary fisted that ball away, but it's a free to Kanturk. He fisted it over the shoulder of Jerome Welsh, and there was a protest from Kiskeam, and that's ball brought forward there. But again, Kiskeam first to the ball. Eddie Angland, or John Angland, to the ball. Brian O'Connell gets it for Kanturk. Brian being hampered. Free to Kanturk. A high ball down there. Rafel Murphy. Donald O'Connell was under it. This is Eddie Angland for Kiskeam. Eddie being challenged by Carl Cronin. Kicks the ball out over to this side of the field. And it's a line ball for Kanturk, and John Murphy will take it. And every kick vital for Kanturk now if they're to come back into this game. Eddie Angland feels this one well, and then clears it out the field, and then that's John Doody. James Healy running for it. Gets there just in time. Back to Dave O'Reilly. John Murphy is fouled. Back actually that on that occasion to Seamus Vaughan. Line ball here, and it's going to be a throw-in by the linesman Gerard Morden. Richard Murphy says the players are too near the ball in their anxiety to get it. Nobody wants to stay back. Seamus Vaughan is there with Richard Dennehy, Dennis O'Leary, Jerome Welsh. And who's going to get it? Jerome Welsh goes up to it. Jerome gets it. And Jerome sends it out to James Healy. And James Healy kicks it down the field. Kanturk into the attack. But it's fielded very well there by John Anglin for Kiskeam. John loses it under pressure. And now Kieran Fitzgerald racing for it, sends it across to Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley for Kanturk. Alan sends it across to John Murphy, the centre half back, bounces back to Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley hops it. Alan drops a high one in, and Donald O'Connell is coming out for it. So was Tony Scannell was there, but that is, who's that on the far side? It's Frank Healy, I think, yes. And it's a free into Kanturk. A free into Kanturk. He was closely marked there by Tony Angland and Timothy Healy. Kanturk haven't scored yet in the second half. Timothy Healy will be hoping this is the first one, and it's over the bar. So Kanturk didn't score in the third quarter, and I don't think they scored in the third quarter of the drawn game either, but they certainly came well back in that game in the later stages, and now 6 points in the difference. Kiskeam 1-11, Kanturk 1-5. And Kanturk will have to do something like they did in the drawn game if they're to pull this game out of the fire. Kiskeam have been playing the better football in the last 10 minutes. Dave O'Riordan. Kanturk are coming back into it now, getting more possession than they did. Alan Buckley has it there on the far side. Alan sent it across to John Murphy. John Murphy to Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley's in the run, and he takes a shot, and it goes over the bar. Well, that's an encouragement to Kanturk. Well, if you can hear the cheers in the background, the Kanturk followers now getting behind their team, urging them to keep up this recovery, because they pulled 2 points back a moment ago. It was a point from a free by Timothy Healy, then Alan Buckley. Alan Buckley did well to get that score, and now it's 5 points in the difference with just under a quarter of an hour to go. Ball dropping into the centre of the field, and it drops down there, and that's his Carl Cronin for Kanturk. His kick half blocked, but running to it is Frank Healy, and the play has now changed around. A short time ago it was all Kiskeam. Now Kanturk have come well back into it, but Frank Healy's kick went wide, and that's a loss to Kanturk. They need to be pulling every score they can out of the bag at the moment, because Kiskeam, the champions, still 5 points ahead with 13 minutes to go in this Duhallow football final. Kanturk have the wind in the second half. Sam O'Sullivan, the Kiskeam goalkeeper, preparing to take the kick out. Tim Galvin is on the Kiskeam team. Donald O'Connell brought that down. Donald has it now. Donald is taking it forward for Kanturk, deciding what to do. I think he's going to go for a score, and the ball is knocked away from him there, and this is that was one of Eddie Angland out now to Declan Cremin on the far side. Niall Cronin racing for it, hopping it, biding his time until he sees somebody, and he saw John Hurley send it across to him in Kiskeam. These movements are always dangerous when the Kiskeam forwards pass the ball to another. Passage of man in a better position, but this time it went across the goal from John Hurley's kick, and that will be a relief to Kanturk as they try to come back to knock some more scores off Kanturk's lead, 111 to 1-6. Tony Scannell gone off the Kiskeam team, and Tim Galvin, who has played a lot of fine football for Kiskeam in the past year or two. On the Kiskeam team now for the last 12 minutes of the game. Son of Neely Galvin, former Kiskeam footballer, up the field to Frank Healy. Frank gives it to his brother Timothy, and Timothy takes a shot, but it's going to drop short into Donald O'Connell, and Donald's kick is blocked down there, and out comes Donny Anglin. Donny Anglin up to Declan Crimmin. Dennis O'Leary for Kiskeam. Back to Declan Crimmin. Across to Tim Galvin. Tim Galvin, a strong player, holds possession. Up to John Doody, tackled by James Healy. John breaks away for the ball. He's on one of his typical runs. Will this come to something for Kiskeam? He's being challenged there by Dave O'Riordan. Back to Richard Dennehy. Richard Dennehy to Niall Cronin, and Niall drops that ball wide. Well, Tim Burke, I see, is coming on the Kiskeam team, on the Kanturk team now, and I don't know who's going off. I think it's John Murphy, the centre half back. They're trying to bring in a forward. John Hurley going through for Kiskeam. John Hurley over to Jimmy Dennehy. Jimmy Dennehy takes a shot and he drops it over the bar. Well, it doesn't pay to allow Jimmy Dennehy to have space, because Jimmy used that very position very judiciously, got the space, dropped the ball effortlessly over the bar. So it's 1-12 now for Kiskeam, 1-6 for Kanturk, 10 minutes to go. Kanturk really up against it now. Jerome Welsh kicking the ball down, but Eddie Anglin is under it for Kiskeam. Eddie sends it down the field. John Doody, James Healy was there. Dave O'Riordan gives it back to James Healy. James decides to go with it. It was a run by James that led to the Kanturk goal a short time ago, but this time it doesn't work out, and James's kick goes wide. And there's another sub on the field. They're throwing in a number of fresh legs now. Fergus Murphy coming on the Kiskeam team. And I don't see who is going off yet. I think it's Niall Cronin making his way to the line. Niall, who had a fine game here, but as I say, they're bringing in fresh legs. But that's Brian O'Connell on a run, and Brian drops a good point over the bar. A great score by Brian O'Connell for Kanturk, and that gives them a glimmer of hope. 1-10 now, 1-12 for Kiskeam, 1-7 for Kanturk. 8 minutes to go, 5 points in the difference. Kanturk would probably need a goal if they're going to come back with a meaningful chance of winning this game, because they haven't an awful lot of time. They've 8 minutes. Jerome Welsh fisted down there, broke away from Carl Crone, and that's Declan Crimmin for Kiskeam. Up to Fergus Murphy, across to James Healy for Kanturk. James being tackled by Fergus. James gets in his kick, but it's John Anglin is under it for Kiskeam. It breaks away from him. It breaks away from Tim Burke. Send it back there to Timothy Healy, his brother-in-law, and the ball went wide there. Eddie Anglin came across, shouldered Tim Burke just as he was kicking the ball. I think Kanturk were looking for a 45 there, but the referee or the umpire had no hesitation. He confirmed that the ball was wide, and so Sam O'Sullivan happy now. The Kiskeam are 5 points in front, kicking the ball out into the centre. Jerome Welsh goes high. So does Dennis O'Leary. Free to Kanturk. James Healy. James Healy probably took it too fast before the Kanturk backs had settled down. Comes back here, and Dave O'Riordan. John Herlihy on the ground, and it's a throw-in ball there by Richard Murphy. Eamon O'Mahony and Jerome Welsh right in front of the referee. Two tall players. Jerome fists it down, but in comes Tim Galvin, and Tim Galvin sends it up to Jimmy Dennehy. Jimmy kicks it in towards the goal. John Doody is racing for it. Who gets it? It's Dave O'Riordan who punched it away. John Doody goes back and retrieves it. Another goal for Kiskeam would finish Kanturk's hopes, but in comes Seamus Vaughan, saves that dangerous situation there, sends it out. It's Declan Crimmin now for Kiskeam, back to Fergus Murphy. Fergus, who's made many a dramatic appearance for Kiskeam, often comes in as a sub and does great work, and Tim Galvin's kick goes wide, and so the margin remains 5 points, and the time just a little over 5 minutes to go. And it looks at the moment as if Kiskeam are in a very strong position to hold their title. Out into the centre of the field, Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary holds the ball for Kiskeam. Dennis sends it down. Jimmy Dennehy is running for it with Pat O'Reilly. Pat gets there. Pat O'Reilly gets there. Then is fouled. It's a free out to Kanturk. That's a relief. He kicks it up on the far side, but Eamon O'Mahony gets it in. Now it's Jimmy Dennehy racing down to the corner flag, but the ball is gone over the line and wide. A kick out for Kanturk. Timing's very important to Kanturk now because of only 5 minutes and they're 5 points behind. Will Kiskeam make it 3 titles in 4 years? Eamon O'Mahony gets the ball for Kiskeam, gives it to Morris Anglin. Morris in a run. Comes up against Dave O'Riordan there. John Doody. John takes a kick, sends it across the goal. Jimmy Dennehy out to John Herlihy. John Herlihy kicks it over the... Oh no, it's wide. It's wide. And the margin remains 5 points. Kick out. Eamon O'Mahony has come out around the centre of the field, doing very well to John Herlihy. John on a run, very energetic player, to Tim Galvin. Tim Galvin challenged, racing after him is Brian O'Connell. Facing him is Padraig Kearns, and he kicks that ball wide. He was under pressure from 2 Kanturk players, and so the margin remains 5 points, 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go, and whatever every passing minute, Kiskeam's prospects are holding this title are improving. Now that's Carl Cronin in there. Free to Kiskeam. Donald O'Connell back to Frank Healy. Frank making a wrong turns and twists, then sends the ball in, but it goes into Sam O'Sullivan. Sam has that under control all the way. Richard Dennehy down to Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary up to Declan Crimmin. Declan Crimmin faced by Seamus Vaughan. Gets away, sends it across to Tim Galvin, who is standing loose. Tim sends it over to Jimmy Dennehy. The ball hops into Fergus Murphy. Fergus Murphy into Jimmy Dennehy, and is this another goal? And it is another goal. One could see it coming from the moment Jimmy Dennehy got it. Fergus Murphy played a vital part in it. Across, I think, to Tim Galvin, and then over to Jimmy Dennehy, and Kiskeam certainly now have the Duhallow title in the bag. Kiskeam now 2-12, Kanturk 1-7. as Brian O'Connell kicks the ball down. It's fisted away. It's fisted away by Eddie Angland. Kanturk making a last despairing effort to get something out of it. Tim Burke with the ball for Kanturk now, sends it across, and he gets it to who's number 8? Kanturk sub that came on there, and I'm not sure who he is. Oh, it's Con Cronin, of course. I should know Con. One of the fine young Kanturk players of recent years, Con, the fairhead. They're trying to get that ball in, but it's Kiskeam in the possession. It's up to Tim Galvin from Dennis O'Leary, and now Kiskeam certainly in the driving seat. They have this title in the bag. The time is ebbing away, just about a minute and a half to go. And John Doody now to Pat O'Reilly. Timothy Healy to Carl Cronin. Seamus Vaughan. But it doesn't go back far enough, and it's Dennis O'Leary. Dennis O'Leary up to Morris Angland. Dave O'Riordan safely getting that one. Sending it up to Jerome Welsh. Jerome Welsh to Timothy Healy. Timothy into his brother Frank, and Frank is going to go for a goal, and he gets it. A great goal for by Frank Healy. A great goal by Frank Healy. Got the ball from his brother Timothy. Carl Cronin had it before that. It came off a move out of attack by Dave O'Riordan. So it's 5 points again, but the time is almost up. It's a goal that certainly has made Kanturk's final score more respectable. Maybe if that goal came sooner, it would have inspired them, but that last goal by Jimmy Dennehy put the game beyond their reach. Jerome Welsh fits it down, but Eamon O'Mahony sends it up to Tim Galvin. Tim Galvin to Jimmy Dennehy, and is Jimmy going to go for another goal? He gives it into John Doody, and John, tackled at the last minute by Dave O'Riordan, sent that wide. But it doesn't matter to Kiskeam now, because they're still 5 points ahead and the time is almost up. Brian O'Connell for Kanturk, but Eddie Angland is under that one. Eddie Angland sends it down to John Herlihy. Con Cronin making a run there to try to put him under pressure, put John under pressure. But John gets the ball to Jimmy Dennehy. Jimmy sends it across to his brother Richard, who is racing for him, and Jerome Welsh gets there first, hops the ball, couldn't control it. Now it's Kiskeam, it's John Doody for Kiskeam, back to Dennis O'Leary, and Dennis drops it over the bar. Well, 6 points in the difference now, and the game is almost over, 2-13 to 2-7. It's not going to be Kanturk's day. They'll have to wait for some time longer to take that title back to Kanturk, and how dearly they would have liked to take it back today after 35 years. But the final whistle goes, and Kiskeam are still the champions. 2-13 to 2-7. A great display by Kiskeam. A fine game between two good teams here in the Duhallow final. They've given us great entertainment over 2 hours. In the drawn game and again today. But the victory belongs to Kiskeam, and deservedly so. They dominated for a period, most of the third quarter. Then Kanturk came back fairly strongly, couldn't make a breakthrough for the goal they so badly needed, and eventually when Jimmy Dennehy got Kiskeam's second goal, well, it looked as if the game was out of Kanturk's reach, and although Frank Healy came back and got a late goal for Kanturk, the margin was too great, and so Kiskeam out there in the middle of the field, their supporters gathering around for a celebration. Kiskeam have proved themselves a fine team indeed over the last 4 years. Won the title now on 3 occasions. In those 4 years, they're contesting their 4th successive final. They've only lost 1 of the 4, and In a moment we'll have Eddie Angland, or Donny Angland I should have said, coming across here to receive the cup from the chairman of the Duhallow board, Johnny Keating.
Pass. Number 21 now. Ah, Johnny Ball. Green Ushle. Okay. Green Ushle. Bowalam with the sock. Cogardicus Ayenav Lishanda Irin. Asok Nasartli he who they're doing. Niwan and Sainu Ak Kaikis Ohin Koma. I would like first of all to thank two great teams for the magnificent games they have given us. Not alone today, but a fortnight ago in the first game. I would like as well today to remember the effort put in by the Rockchapel Club for their handling of the game on this day fortnight, for their production of a magnificent programme, and for the great effort they made to make this the occasion that we expect it to be. Today it was the turn of Banteer, and I would like to thank them very sincerely for the magnificent condition of the pitch here today, for the way they managed the stewarding of the game. There is great credit due to both Rockchapel and Banteer. I would like as well to thank our referee Richard Murphy for the excellent way he handled this game today. And in thanking Richard, I would like to thank his officials. Today was Kiskeam's day, but our sympathy goes out to Kanturk, who have been waiting for so long, and I'm sure that their expectations were extremely high today. Having come from the dead a fortnight ago, they certainly must have had high hopes today. It was a great game, a great sporting game, from two very sporting teams, two magnificent teams, and they deserve our gratitude and congratulations. But having said all that, it was the day that Kiskeam, I'm sure, looked forward to. It certainly was the ending that they looked forward to. They gave a great performance here today, and I've no doubt lifted their game very much in the second half. It is a great day for Kiskeam, and this, the second occasion of winning the championship, making it 2 in a row. I would like to offer them our congratulations, and as well as to the team, I would like to include their coach and their mentors. It is now, before I present the trophy, on behalf of all of us here in Duhallow, and I know I am including the many people from Kanturk as well, we wish them well in their county championships. We hope that this time they will bring back a county championship to Duhallow. And before I hand over the trophy to the Kiskeam captain, I'm sure he's heavy on the shoulders of these men beside me.
You did right.
I would like to pay tribute and to thank all the supporters who have come along here today, and not only today, but this day fortnight, and all during the present campaign in our Junior A Football Championship. Thank you indeed for your support. You make it the occasion that it is. Agus inishagina uisle, tá sé de frivle de gum, an corna vrunna captain Kiskeam, agus có gardicus a yen of lish.
Okay, lads, thanks very much.
Toss and down couldn't corn shin a glacker or fern Kiskeam. Hey! Believe or believe it not, Kiskeam created a bit of history today by winning the 4th title, but the first time we retained our title. So great credit must go to everyone associated with the Kiskeam GA club. They just talk about our 3 selectors, but I'd like to thank everyone from under 10s onwards. It's been a long time waiting since '64, since the 64 created history. So today we can stand proud and say we made our own bit of history, and hopefully we can go on and do another bit of history today. I suppose I better thank a few people. I'd like to thank both Rockchapel and Bantier GA clubs for a tremendous organisation, both in stewardmanship and condition of the pitch. So a great pleasure must go to both clubs. Second, I'd just like to thank the referees who officialed in both games. And finally, well, not finally, but I'd like to thank the 3 wise men. It was a hard task to follow, and they said the great Tom Doody left us last year, but great credit must go to Jordy Cronin, Peter Daly, and that man from across the border, Jim O'Shea. Hey! There's a few more people I'd like to thank. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Market Co-op, and whoever else helping the financial stakes of the club. Great credit must go to our physio, Niall Shukra. Only for Niall. I'd like to thank the players. It's a great honour for me on behalf of this gallant bunch of players. I don't know why they may be captain, but we'll talk about that another day. But great commitment has been shown throughout the year. It wasn't just a 15-minute start today, it was the whole 27, 28 people. So I'd just like to thank those people. So finally, I'd just like to thank Kanturk on 2 tremendous games. I know it hasn't been their year this year, but I know Spirit Kanturk, they'll be back next year. So 3 cheers, Kanturk. Hey Pep! Hooray! Hey Pep! Hooray! Hey Pep! Hooray! Lift it up. Lift it up.
Well, you saw the presentation, the excitement among all the Kiskeam supporters on having retained this title. Eddie Angland gone off now with the cup to celebrate in Kiskeam, and no doubt they'll have great celebrations, not only tonight but for days to come and probably a week before they settle down to prepare for the county championship. That won't be for some time. But as far as today is concerned, they can look back on a great performance, a performance that took them to a fairly decisive victory in the end over a fine Kanturk team. But it was Kiskeam's day. Their forwards were in flying form, and the scores they pulled off there in the second half, some of them were magnificent scores, and so they're deserving winners of this championship, the 65th Duhallow Championship, Kiskeam's 4th title, a well-deserved title, a great tribute to a fine team, and now of course they'll be hoping to emulate the men who brought the county title to Kiskeam in 1964 when they go out in the county championship final.
Means an awful lot, of course, for years we'll follow him and hoping that win, like, but sure, we can't stop with him now, like. There's no intent.
Did you get as big a thrill out of it today as you did in 1994?
Today,
did you?
Bigger, yeah.
That's good.
The more we win, the better.
Thanks, Noel.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, I thought it was an excellent game again, but I've no doubt in the world like that Kiskeam were the better team in the second half in particular. I felt the Kanturk had little or no answer to their... they definitely raised their game and raised the standard and played much better football than they did the last day. So my estimation, they're very deserving winners. We hope that they play as well now in the county championship, and I'm sure they will.
Do you think they showed the renowned Kiskeam spirit today?
Oh, I've no doubt in the world, particularly in the second half. Maybe lesser teams after Kanturk had scored that goal in the first half might maybe have faded away, but Kiskeam lived up to the expectations that we have of them always.
So we're hoping for the best for the county. Thanks very much, Jerry. Backbone of the Kiskeam team down to the years. Jimmy, what did this win mean to you today?
Well, it meant an awful lot to me. It meant an awful lot to me because I was sure we were home and dry the last evening, but unfortunately they came back and gave us a draw with them. We were lucky to draw with them, and today I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I'm delighted that they're champions again.
How did this win appear to you to be compared to the 1994 win? How did the team look today compared to the 1994 team? How far do you think we'll go in the county?
Of the 94 team, I think that's a very stylish little team. They all play football. We're a bit young and a bit small, some of them a bit old, but they're totally up to old standard.
Do you think we're in with a chance in the county?
I think we should be in with a great chance. We hope we are. We hope any team that leave Duhallow, they're usually they aren't far back from the best of them.
That's right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Of course, a renowned Kiskeam mentor. Tim, what did this mean to you today?
Oh, I was never more delighted all my life. This really was very important for Kiskeam to win today. I think it has consolidated our position as one of the best teams in Duhallow. I think winning 2 in a row is very important. In actual fact, we could have 4 in a row here today, except for the bit of a mishap against Down Tariff in 1995. But it is great to win today. It is great to win. And the way we played was more important. We played tremendous football, powerful football. I think we're showing now is the time to be coming good, and I think we will make this time make a great impression in the county championship. We'll take one game at a time. You would never know.
How would you compare this team to the 94 team?
Well, it's very hard to compare teams and to compare eras. Sorry, the 1994 team, sorry, is it?
The 94 team.
Oh yes, well.
The one that won it after the 30 years.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was 64 team you were talking about. Well, certainly is as good. You have a lot of great experience in that team, and that's very important. And you have young players coming there in today and playing very well. I think you must have a team that will be able to combine both effectively. Experience is very important. I think experience counted today because Kanturk were trying to do what we had to do in 1994 to win after so long. The pressure is enormous, and I think today we showed that we had learned from the experience of 94, and with the experience won us the end to finish. When the game was close there, we stuck it in there, and we went ahead, and we got those vital scores, and we stayed in front.
So you think we're in with a chance in the county?
Well, who knows? and really who cares at this stage? We have won another Duhallow championship, and the Duhallow championship is the one to win. And we'll keep winning them year after year, if at all possible. If we don't win the county, what about it? We're proud of our team today, and if we don't win the county, we don't mind. Once they'll be there again next year and playing good football and give us great enjoyment and great entertainment.
Thanks, Tom. You can be proud of your two brothers too. They did their stuff well. Our new TD for North West Cork, and Bernard is also treasurer of the Kiskeam club. What did this mean when you say?
Well, it meant a huge amount to the Kiskeam people, because we are a very small club with limited resources and would be unable possibly to put up the resources of a big club from a town like Kanturk. And it's brilliant to win for Kiskeam and for the people, because it's great, the team have worked very hard, and our selection and the officers of the club. It's I suppose it's a culmination of a lot of work really from everybody, but the reality is it's the 15 guys or 17 guys who played today who won it for Kiskeam. And it means we're back in the winning trail. In the last 4 years we've been in 4 finals and we've won 3, and we lost the replay against Duhallow. So it's brilliant, of course. It's fantastic, and it's fantastic for Kiskeam and the village of Kiskeam, and for yourself, Dealey, and all the business people and everybody.
It has been a great year for Kiskeam in general. Michael Minahan topped the poll in the Dáil elections. Kiskeam re-entered the Tidy Towns competition and got the best no entry award. And here we are after winning the championship today, after coming in with kind of doubts in our mind after what happened the last year. Bernard, thanks to you today, Raphael.
Oh, God help us.
I should have said congratulations. You played a mighty game again as usual.
It was great to win, but I can't help feeling a bit sorry for Kanturk, because Jesus, they were there and they were mad up for it, like. But I think experience told in the end.
Yeah, and it's tough on them after 35 years, but should they get their chance too?
They'll get their
chance. Do you think
again.
we'll win the county?
Well, it's time we did. It's
Good.
time we did.
It's been here now anyway. So, Jim O'Shea, congratulations, Jim. Great win today.
Thanks, Neely. A mighty win. A lot of credit must go down to the players. They are super fit. We made a few switches and they turned out right, so we're not for the chop this time anyway.
No, and they were very important. Like the switches proved to be the right things. And I think that the spirit of Kiskeam was shown up here again today, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
What about the county prospects now?
We don't know yet. I don't know anyway, like. We'll celebrate tonight and we'll think about the county next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Peter, congratulations. Mighty win. You did your stuff well. The boys did their stuff well. How did you feel after winning this match today?
Well, I felt that Kiskeam had just done it as justice. That they had played to their ability. They didn't in the drawn game or in the Newmarket match. They found that the overdrive again today, the same as they did against Stocknagree, and playing well. They are a great side. County, we'll take every game as it comes. We'll try and win the first one first.
Right. Did you get the same buzz out of it today as we did in 1994 after 30 years?
No.
Didn't you?
No. There was. I've never felt after a game like I felt after 94. Never felt like it. Today was great. It was great to be part of the team. Our supporters were brilliant. Myself and the selectors and the subs, we all shouted ourselves hoarse. I think the team responded to that as well.
They did. I think that to the credit to the whole lot of you. Well done. It did us proud. We can hold our heads up again.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel after the win?
I feel delighted as I ever felt about winning any match. There's a lot of us coming to the origins of our career, so we know that every time we get to a final now, it is a plus for us, and we're delighted to be there and delighted to win.
John, sorry. Do you think this is as good a team as the 1914 that went to the county final?
It's hard to know. It probably is, but I mean, it's all about attitude on the day after, There's no good having 15 good players if they have the right attitude go out, and we seem to have the right attitude back again now.
And the spirit was right today, wasn't it?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I mean, the head was right the last day.
And any time they came to it today, came back at them again.
Came back at them again. We showed a bit of class today, I thought.
And especially straight after half-time to get that point, like after they scored a goal just before half-time, that could knock the stuff out of any team.
That's right. And we went up to 7 points again today, and we just couldn't get the 8th one, which was really a psychological barrier to us since the last day and from previous games. But we held our heads today when they came back to 5, and we stuck at it all the way.
It is. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
John?
Oh, Jesus.
Congratulations, right? You did us proud again today. This is our super sub, but he was on for the full match today.
Thanks,
John Doody, how do you feel about the win?
That is great to win. We're I knew it was going to be a tough game, and fair enough, it was a tough game in the day.
What do you think of the team? Is it better than the last 3 years? Or is it as good? Or what are the chances like?
The team has improved all the time. As you can see, we 3 fellas coming off the bench today, and 3 of them did well. So it's a good sign, like, we new fellas coming off the bench.
And it's nice to see the under-21s coming up now, isn't it? And doing that stuff.
Yeah, out now again
So
next
no,
week.
the best to look now in the county. Declan. Congratulations, kid. Declan Crimmin played his heart out today and did his stuff for us again. We're proud of you, you're after doing us all proud. What do you think of the win?
Absolutely mighty, mighty. I can't say anything too fucked. Just one drink enough in that.
But be sure and mind yourself, there's more to be played.
Yeah.
We want to win the county this year.
We will too.
That's good. Thanks, Declan.
Bye.
Well, so we know here. We wish to get something fun. Fergus! It was good to see you back in action again today. Congratulations. Fergus Murphy came on as a sub today. He has been missing for a bit, but how did it feel to be on again?
Well, it was great. It was great, Didi. Great to get the chance again.
And nice to be a member of a winning team.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The lads had all the hard work done by the time I came on, so, you know, it was easy peasy after that. Here, Sam.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Sam Sullivan. Feel to be doing your stuff there again today.
Oh, it was a relief at the final whistle. At I suppose 10 minutes in the second half we were well on top, but last week it was always in our minds, like, but we kept battling away right to the end today, and it paid off.
He showed your spirit today. He showed the real
great spirit, yeah.
Because
we went in the last day, a small bit lackadaisical.
That's right. And I think when you went 7 points up the last day, he thought it was all over.
Was that way they won, yeah.
So, but the same mistake didn't happen at all.
No, thank God.
He did us proud. We can crow again now for a bit.
Thanks very much, Neil.
David, would you like to give us a comment? Do. David, I want to...
Huh?
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're after doing us proud. We can hold our heads up again and we can celebrate in Kiskeam.
We can indeed. The last time I was talking to it was 94 over in Mill Street, and we've won one since, thankfully, and we've lost one. But it's great to put 2 of them back to back now today again. And hopefully we can do well in the county now again. Anything in the county is a bonus, but we'll go out and give it our best shot.
Was the buzz as good today as it was in 94?
Well, I don't think there'll ever be a buzz like 94.
But it was still good.
Our celebrations like it, but it was still good. It was brilliant after the replay and everything. Our team seemed to be a different team today. Completely different team from a fortnight ago. Short hat and true Kiskeam style.
Real spirit in that.
Oh, no, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we're going to Kiskeam now for a good night, and tomorrow night we've done the 12s playing, and we hope to have another cup in town.
Good.
So
thanks for all the entertainment you've given us during the year, and the best of luck in the county. And there's Juddy around the corner here. It couldn't be done. Juddy Cronin. Juddy, how do you feel after a win? Congratulations anyway.
Thank you,
and we're charmed, we're over the moon. We'll be able to crow and blow for another bit again.
I'm just relieved, to be honest with you, and just glad to know and delighted for the boys.
Mighty performance today, wasn't it, Juddy?
Mighty, it was great to win, playing well.
It was. And when the chips are down, when they went up that 7 points today, they didn't slip up at all, so they didn't.
No, well, they showed great hat and training in the next part, and it paid off today.
And it showed here in the field.
Showed today.
Fair play to you.
I'm just delighted for the boys.
And it's great to keep a team on top for 4 years in a row, like.
It's not easy, but it's great. All the fellas there today, I was delighted for them.
It was great.
Keep the show going.
And it was great for the young fellas because it gives them encouragement too.
Great young fellas, yeah, and I hope they keep it going.
He did a mighty job. Congratulations, Juddy, and the best of luck in the county.
Thank you.
Thanks. Congratulations, John. You did us proud. We're charmed again. We can celebrate again. How did it feel to be out there today?
When I heard the final whistle, it was brilliant. Looking back in the video of last week, we were up 7 points and we lost the lead, and we could have still been beaten, and we were more than delighted to get a second bite of the cherry. We trained very hard for the first week after the replay, and it really stood to us today. It was a hard physical game. We expected that from Kanturk, and we were just delighted to come out right on the right side again in the end.
He played so superbly. I think that's about the expression the description I could give him it today. Just when the chips were down, he came out in the second half and he showed us exactly what he could do. If he could do that for an hour, then the team in the county can beat you. What about our county final prospects?
Well, first round. Well, I think it proved today that we have a very strong panel. We were able to make changes at certain times. Eamon O'Mahony coming out to midfield, Tim Galvin coming on, Fergus Murphy coming on, and like there's more people on the panel that are very unlucky not to come on. So I think that's where our strength is this year. We have a fairly good panel. It's just to structure our team correctly, and you know we will be quite hard to beat then.
So we have the talent, we have the mentors, we have the spirit. There's nothing can stop us now.
Well, maybe just a small bit more luck, and hopefully we can go all the ways. It'd be nice to go all the ways after '94, you know. We went out a bit disappointing last year against Deal Rovers, but I think these two games against Kanturk can only stand to us, and hopefully we can go on from there.
These are good.
Thanks.
Thanks a million, John.
Thanks a lot.
On this memorable evening for Kiskeam, it was nice to win the 2 in a row. We're looking forward to winning the county. We hope we'll go a long ways in the county, and to be the icing in the cake, because as I said earlier on, this was a great year for Kiskeam. We had a new TD elected to the Dáil. We got our best new entry in the Tidy Towns competition, having come last the last time we appeared in it. Now we're after winning the Duhallow Championship for the 3rd time in 4 years and the 2nd time in a row. And there's one thing that has eluded us. We went to the final in '94 of the county. We want to win the county final this year. Thank you very much. Thanks, Gary.